School's out for summer, and this the last day of the school year, the last day of the month of June. One more day, one more sleep to go before BookTube goes to war. And luckily, some of the books I really wanted to read for this actually arrived today as well. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and I hope very much you're all doing well. So this is actually going to start off with kind of like a kind of pre-birthday book haul, a little present to myself because it fits in, because most of the books I got for this event. But I'll start off with the two. Well, one can be related if you take non-fiction into BookTube at War. I've chosen not to do that. But the first book that I got in my kind of pre-birthday book haul to myself is Evelyn Waugh's War in Abyssinia, which follows the war and the lead up to the war in Abyssinia and the Italian invasion of that during the 1930s, so 1935 to be exact. And I might try and get to it, but as I said, I didn't really want to count non-fiction in BookTube at War because I think war fiction does deserve to have its own event, and it's something like this can fit in more with Historathon or something like that. So that's the way I've chosen to do it. And the other one totally isn't war related at all, but I saw it and I thought that looked good fun. And it's a book called Night Terrors, and it's the ghost stories of E.F. Benson. So that would be fun to do later in the year, probably in October, something like that. So it's like 700 pages worth of ghost stories from E.F. Benson, who of course was a friend and contemporary of the master M.R. James. So there we go. Now the other three I got for myself definitely do fit in, and they are part of this pile of possibilities. Now those of you who watch Sean D. Stanfast's channel will have seen that he got a whole collection of these books because we were talking about them. I had actually already ordered them, but they took a while to arrive. And the first is R.F. Delderfield's The Dreaming Suburb, which basically is the story of a suburb and a street, I think, at the end of World War One and the interwar years. But that's followed up by the sequel of The Avenue Goes to War, and takes place during the Second World War years as well. So I think that fits in nicely. And the last book I got in this haul, which actually turned out to be a bit of a surprise because I didn't realize it was a hardback, and certainly the price didn't say as much. So that's really good. And it's actually a Penguin Classic, hardback. So there we go. And it is again from Evelyn Waugh, and it's his whole Sword of Honor trilogy. So yeah, it's kind of cool, right? I really didn't know it was a hardback. I thought it was just going to be a big old paperback with the three novels inside. But it turns out to be a hardback. So fancy that. That's really good. I don't know if you know it, but there are, as I say, three books in this series. Guy Crouchback, a Catholic and a gentleman, is commissioned into the Royal Corps of Halberdiers during the Second World War. High comedy in the company of Brigadier Richie Hooke, or the denizens of Bellamy's Club, is only part of the shambles of Crouchback's war. When action comes in Crete and in Yugoslavia, he discovers not heroism but humanity. Based on Waugh's own experience of being a soldier, Sword of Honor combines 3 volumes, Officers and Gentlemen, Men at Arms, and Unconditional Surrender, which were originally published separately. It's been extensively revised by Waugh. They were published as one volume called Sword of Honor in 1965, and this is the form that he wished them to be read, apparently. So that would be great. And yeah, I've heard it's quite entertaining, and one of the characters is apparently based on a really amazing character, which is General Sir Adrian Carton de Wyatt, who is probably one of the biggest badasses of the war, of the First World War as well. And I've got his autobiography, Happy Odyssey, which is well worth reading if you haven't done so. So those are from my little haul. And The others that fall into this pile of possibilities. Now, I'm not committing to read every single one of them because, there's a big ask, but I'm certainly going to try. It probably will be a challenge during the month, but each one, of course, has the theme of war to them. And one is Sir Walter Scott's Waverley, which follows kind of civil war and rebellion and stuff in the 18th century. So that would be great fun. Edward Waverley, a young English soldier in the Hanoverian army, is sent to Scotland, where he finds himself caught up in events that quickly transform from the stuff of romance into nightmare. His character is fashioned through his experience of the Jacobite Rising of 1745-6, the last civil war fought on British soil, and the unsuccessful attempt to reinstate the Stuart monarchy, represented by Prince Charles Edward. Waverley's romantic nature and his love for the spirited Flora MacIver increasingly puts him towards the Jacobite cause and tests his loyalty to the utmost. So, yeah, pretty good, eh? Next up, I have The Complete Brigadier Gerard by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. That follows the misadventures of the said brigadier. Then, perhaps, I know some of you are like, oh, he's crazy. Well, maybe, but as I say, I'm not committed. I'm going to try, but I'm not committing to reading them because I still have other things to read. And this is just my July BookTube at War TBR, not my entire July TBR. They'd have to add in a couple more books for that, but these are the ones that, as I say, depending on my mood, so I will allow my mood to influence which one of these I go for. And it's Hans Fallader's Alone in Berlin, which I've been wanting to read for a while. Berlin 1940, the city is paralyzed by fear, but one man refuses to be scared. Otto, an ordinary German living in a shabby apartment block, tries to stay out of trouble under Nazi rule, but when he discovers his only son has been killed fighting at the front, and he's shocked into an extraordinary act of resistance and starts to drop anonymous postcards attacking Hitler across the city. If caught, he will be executed. Soon this silent campaign comes to the attention of ambitious Gestapo Inspector Escherich, and a murderous game of cat and mouse begins. Whoever loses pays with their life. So, sounds fantastic. And I have actually another Delta Field here. These last two are quite short, so I should be able to knock those off probably over the weekend. Too Few the Drums, which, as you see, it's a nice little book. And this is a Napoleonic War era story. And the other's a children's book, and one that holds, I guess, fond memories of my early school days back in the mid 1980s, and it's The Silver Sword by Ian Serraillier, which is the night the Nazis take their mother away. 3 children escape in a dangerous scramble across the rooftops of Warsaw, where they have to learn to survive on their own. Then they meet Jan, a boy with a paper knife, the silver sword, they recognize as belonging to their long-lost father. The sword becomes their symbol of hope as they begin the hazardous journey across war-torn Europe to find their parents. So that is indeed my pile of possibilities for BookTube at War. And I neglected to mention that the event is primarily hosted by Michael K. Vaughan, and it's born out of the idea of one of his and my subscribers, DDB. So there we go, and please let me know in the comments what you think, and if you'll be partaking in BookTube at War, what you plan to read. Everybody, thank you so much, do take care, and see you all again next time. Bye-bye.